Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Dale. Yes, so my name is Cay-Leigh Bartnicke, and I am part of the team of curators here at the Maritime Museum. My background is in marine science. I've practiced fine arts for most of my life, and over the last few years, I have made my way through a few different teams, and I have actually ended up in the ocean science and sustainability team. Since I was 13, I've been scuba diving with my dad, and I would have started at 12, but I was too small for the equipment. And it has been very special to be a part of this project that I'll introduce you to tonight, and not just because I simply adore fish. So, in 2020, we began the process of acquiring a massive collection of photograph transparencies, gifted by Valerie Taylor, as seen here, in honour of her late husband, Ron. This collection of over 10,000 images spans decades of Valerie and Ron's personal life and careers. It is an important investment for the museum, and it is also not the first donation we have welcomed from the Taylors. Previously, we have acquired items like, seen here, the chainmail shark protection suit that they have custom made for the two of them, with Ron on the left and Valerie also in the water. We also have their underwater camera gear, like these, some of their spears and shark repellent devices. Valerie and Ron lived an incredibly unique life together, trailblazing into a multi-decadal career of filmmaking, conservation, and advocacy work. While Ron built custom camera housings and was often the self-taught camera man, Valerie was the brains behind their narratives and often the human feature of their films. Valerie also had her own film cameras that she used to take shots of all their work behind the scenes. These photos capture her career legacy and are what predominantly make up the collection that we have acquired. The images touch on international pop culture, film and media, innovation, and personal growth. These homegrown heroes have been able to explore the world in a way that very few others could, travelling far and wide and very frequently for decades. Their underwater filmmaking career granted them access into pristine parts of the world, capturing remote islands, uncharted dive sites, and spots known only to locals. For some locations, their images give us a rare look at localized environmental or species changes over time. All of these factors helping to make this collection an amazing time capsule of Australian and international waters. This time capsule is not just a stack of images in the National Maritime Collection. It is a bunch of data sets. Across the world, scientists have been looking into museum collections and wider for pools of information that can help our natural world. Deep in the storage of London's Museum of Natural History, a collection of plankton shells was used by Lindsay Fox to compare past and present ocean acidification. Archived early 20th century logbooks from ships that sailed around New Zealand have been transcribed by volunteers to digitise the weather data in them and learn what the climate used to be like. Or perhaps repurposing Google Maps coastline images showing permanent boat moorings that see the loss of seagrass around them. Conserving our natural world and creating appropriate management plans is tricky. Trying to answer simple questions about our ocean can be difficult, like, are there more sharks in New South Wales now or in the past? Is it unusual to see this fish species here in Sydney, and how can I check? A large focus area for science is collating what is called baseline data. This is taking stock of what places look like now and trying to find ways to quantify them in the past. This is often the priority to tackling many problems about climate change, because how can we figure out if climate change is affecting something if we don't know its history? Museums hold a wealth of knowledge in their collections that has not been utilised to its full capacity to be future data. When looking for potential new data sets, we must think creatively. Combining forces with science, useful information can be found in unusual places. They likely will not be ideal data sets. Numerous entries, repetition, control groups, randomization, exact times and locations. But there is work to be done to figure out how to make them useful in the plight of regenerating our world and how to get there faster. We cannot falter because we cannot access perfection. We must look for the good in abstract places and be willing to sidestep old ideals and find new ways to analyse and interpret unique data. Our team is now focused on digitising and cataloguing the entire Transparency collection to be made available on our online collections webpage. As of today, we have now digitised over 7,000 of our images. We will provide access for researchers internationally to analyse the collection and create data to aid the conservation of our marine world. This year we have our first honours student that is trialling a selection of photos focused on the New South Wales northern coast. We want this collection to be another avenue for accessing and enjoying the beauty of the ocean, using the stories of Valerie's life to show why we need to love and therefore protect our one ocean. The underwater world is a highly inaccessible place for many reasons. Even divers are just one terrible sneeze away from being unable to dive again. In future, we aim to develop Thank you. In future, we aim to develop experiences for the people to immerse themselves into these locations and timelines with no special skills required. Being able to create experiences using these visuals can help facilitate our communities to build a better relationship with the ocean. If a love for something or someone begins, a caretaking element can naturally arise. Finding curiosity for and beauty within our natural world, hopefully, over time, fosters a sense of love for it and a caretaking attitude. We want to protect what we love. The environment needs to be loved, appreciated, cared for, respected. And if our vision is clear enough, we will see that it will take care of us in return. The museum is in our second year of programming as part of the United Nations Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development until 2030. Managed by the IOC of UNESCO, it is a global framework campaigning for everybody to focus on their 10 identified challenges, 7 ocean literacy goals, and 7 outcomes to be achieved. Part of our commitment to this is working on breaking the barrier between people and the sea. Through this collection, you could experience not just today's ocean or Australia's waters, but pick a decade, a country, or an island, and we just might have some pictures of her travels and dive there. We could show you what the true size of an albatross looks like with Valerie for scale in Antarctica during the 1970s. These are some of my favourite images because I just never grasped how enormous these birds are until I could see their heads side by side. Or some of the species that she has dived with and later helped to protect, like the grey nurse shark and potato cod. Her friendship with Harry the eel, as seen here on the right, one that they've had for many decades. Or shots behind the scenes of Jaws, filming great white sharks off South Australia. Valerie has made a career out of her interests and passions and got to do it alongside someone she deeply loved. Her love for the ocean can be seen through the care taken in many of the photographs, even in the curious handwritten labels they have. Our museum is honoured to serve as a repository for this internationally significant collection, preserving Ron and Valerie's lifelong connection to the ocean. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and feel free to ask me or anyone from the museum about the collection if you have any questions tonight, or email me in the future. Thank you.